She is the founder of Manifestation FREQ, which I'm really excited to go into. Known for her transformative approaches to stress, success, blending neuroscience, meditation and conscious creation.
Gorgeous introduction.
Since I've forgotten how to speak.
You've been doing a lot of it today, so I'm not surprised.
How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. We've got a really gorgeous, everyone's looking like they've had the best weekend. Is it been good? Yeah, I just got here, so I'm looking forward to exploring. Yeah, it's nice to be here.
And where did you have to travel from?
Well, on Friday I made the mistake of driving up from Cornwall, which took me 9 hours, and that was the most fun drive I've ever had.
Ooh.
But I stayed in Brighton, so only an hour and a half today, it's not too bad.
So tell us a little bit about you.
So my main gig these days is Manifestation FREQ that you mentioned. I've been a transformational coach for 10 years, as well as the other jobs and bits and bobs I'm doing. And my intention with Manifestation FREQ was to demystify it, because it's such a buzzword these days, manifestation. And a lot of what is out there is either very surface level or it's overcomplicated. So the tagline of Manifestation FREQ is, manifestation isn't magic, it's a frequency. And simply, that is you knowing what you want and getting into alignment with it. So our mindset, energy and action. And it sounds really obvious, but most people don't know what they really want. So as a coach, that's where I start. What do you really want? So helping people get out of their heads and connect to, or back to, what they truly desire. Because we're often we're setting goals and creating a life based on shoulds and coulds and have-tos. And so it's really coming back to, what do you want? Just take a minute to slow down. And is your life where you want it to be? Is your work? Are your relationships? And so that's the work I'm doing. So I always say that manifestation really is deep transformation.
So you're trying to tell me it's not write yourself a check for £75,000?
Well, you know, we do a bit of that as well. You go in my bag, it's full of things like that, crystals and checks and things. But those things are supportive, right? So, you know, all of the tools and tips and tricks and 369 methods and all that stuff that's out there will support you, but they're there to support you in believing in what you want being possible. And so that's what I'm talking about. It's like you're not just going to say an overnight affirmation or sit on a meditation pillow and on your way to success, you know. Those things are beautiful and supportive, but it is really about your subconscious programming. It's about what we believe to be true about ourselves and possible for us in the world, right?
Was there a moment for you where something happened that made you shift into this mindset?
Yeah, great question. And it wasn't one moment actually, it was different periods in my life where I've come back to this work for myself. And it started, I would say, well, from being very young and not knowing the answer to that question, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? And then creating work and a life that I just wasn't happy in, but I didn't know why. I didn't know, you know, why am I not happy working in corporate? I've got a great job, great salary, and I'm just not, this isn't it. But I didn't know anything else. But I was so curious, and I just made it my mission to find out what that was for me. Like, what is it that you really want and why are you happy? So it's, you know, it's fundamental things I think we're all facing day to day, and it's really taking radical self-responsibility and looking and being honest with ourselves. Actually, this job isn't aligned for me, you know, and it takes courage, because it can be really challenging to leave a job or a relationship, you know, so it does take a lot of courage. But for me, I got to the point where I was, and I heard Rob speaking about anxiety and depression. I was depressed, I was anxious, I've experienced horrific panic attacks that I really felt like I was dying. And so that was my body letting me know, you're not in alignment, this is not the life you're meant to be living. So,
Okay, so what is manifestation?
So manifestation is, very simply, to simplify it, is goal setting. So back to what I said earlier, it's knowing what you really want. And this is a heart-based intelligence thing. It doesn't come from here. Because our head, brain and ego is full of shoulds, coulds, have-tos, other people's expectations for us, society's pressures and expectations. And so this is where the meditation comes in, and the practice called multi-brain integration. So I do a lot of work with aligning your head, your heart and your gut. And our heart is an independent intelligence, which is actually responsible for our desires. So I help my clients to get out of the noise, the monkey brain and chatter, and connect to this. Like what do you really want? What do you truly desire? And how do you really want to feel? That's a very simple way to check in, right? How do you want to feel in your life, in your relationships, in your work? And what do you need to do to feel that way?
Yeah, that feels like a nice way of flipping it as well. If you can't answer what you do or don't want, like how do you want to feel? Feels like an alternative question that we might not have thought about answering.
And it's simple, right? I think this is my mission. It's like manifestation it's not magic and it's not complicated. It's really all about you as an individual knowing what you really want and being honest about that as well, because either people don't know what they really want, we don't know what we really want, or we do but we don't dare ask for it or claim it, or we've just squashed it so much that what was once clear is now such a quiet whisper that we've lost connection to that. And the other thing is like remembering what you did as a kid.
Yeah,
kids know, right? Like we know as a kid, like we are constantly living in our imagination, and for me it was doing this. I was presenting, I was teaching, I was acting, and so it's no surprise that then when I actually got connected to the life I wanted, I was doing those things when I was 5 years old.
Yeah, we touched on that, it really did, that energy that you spoke about earlier is huge, right? So there has been a big movement, hasn't there, in the last 15, 20 years. How has it been from your perspective, and how do you see it evolving?
I've loved seeing it come more mainstream, and The Secret was a gateway for me as well. But honestly, when I read that, as brilliant as it is, and the whole way through, and other books and teachings that are similar, I was like, yes, I'm all in. This resonates, makes sense. But what's the secret? So the work that I'm doing, and my whole mission over the last 10 years has been demystifying that and making it is practical. Manifestation is really a goal-setting process, but it speeds up the goal-setting process because we're really connecting to what you really want. We're not just setting a goal from, I think I'd like to do this. We're really connecting to what's your truth, what do you really desire. And being courageous, and I use that word a lot because all of this stuff takes courage. It is really about you as an individual being courageous in transforming your life and in claiming what you really want.
Yeah,
the love that you want.
And it's not selfish,
No.
or the selfishness isn't positive. But sometimes you do have to let other people down in order to look after yourself, right?
Yeah. And I think so many people really do know that they want a certain amount of money, a certain amount of love, relationships, but they're settling for just enough. There's this thing in society that's like, be happy with what you've got.
Yeah.
No, there's no lack of anything. You deserve the love that you desire and to be your most radiantly healthy self. And you having the things that you truly desire does not take away from anyone else. It actually, money's an amplifier, love's an amplifier, you being your most radiantly healthy self is an amplifier, because again, mindset and energy is contagious, right? You spend time with people who are in a good vibration, that has an impact on everyone. Just us having this conversation and being in this room, everyone's going to leave here today, and this frequency is going to go out and impact every other person that you connect to. So we're impacting millions of lives, one conversation at a time, right? And that's the beauty of this work. So the first thing I shifted when I got clear on the life I wanted was my environment. Who am I hanging out with that is not aligned with this vision? Who am I spending time with that are sucking my life force energy? That has to change, because you're either going to be around people that are going to spiral you up, like in this amazing space here, like we're all spiraling up together going, yes, we can have whatever it is we want. Spend time with people that believe that help you believe in that more than you do yourself probably, that help you feel good, that help encourage you, and vice versa, because it's reciprocal. Spend less time with people that drain you, that are negative, that stop watching the news, feeding ourselves and being really conscious about what we're consuming in every way. I don't watch the news. I'm very aware of what's going on in the world, of course, but I'm really careful about what I'm consuming in every way. So the people, places and things I'm spending time with, there has to be a really great energy exchange. And not always, this is not about emotionally bypassing in any way. We all need to grieve and be sad and process our emotions, and we're all going to have really tough and challenging life experiences. None of us can escape that in this human journey, but it is, for the most part, as much as you can, asking, how do I want to feel, what do I need to do to feel that way, and who are the people, places and things that I need to surround myself with to help me in creating a life that feels as good as it looks, as much as possible. Right? There's enough hard stuff. Let's make the rest of it as good as possible.
Oh my God, I love that.
I'm sure that there are plenty of people here that can resonate with that, and I'll put my hand up. It's not easy, and that takes a lot of courage to jump a grenade in your life in all areas. But sometimes that is what's necessary. It isn't those small incremental, and so that's about trusting yourself.
Yeah.
And often, we found, getting to the point where you just cannot continue. Life will give you, the universe, whatever, God, whatever you believe in, is going to tap you on the shoulder, right? And at some point it's going to bring you to your knees. So for you it was, I have to leave today. For me it was having severe panic attacks, right? You will listen at some point. If you're not paying attention to those whispers, you're going to get shoved down at some point, and you have no choice but to make a change. And sometimes, often, it is the best thing we can do, because when we've gone so far out of alignment, relationship, and they're all connected, right? Health, money, love, all connected. So if your finances are suffering at some point, that's going to have an impact on your relationships, that's going to have an impact on your health, and it's just going to continue. And that's the point where the rug gets pulled out from under you. It's like you have no choice but to change something now. Yeah. And that quantum leap sometimes, in that very courageous decision, is the best thing. There's a slingshot there, slingshots you into that life that you're meant to be living.
And it's interesting because that's sort of what Julia alluded to earlier as well, wasn't it? At some point in life, for her it came out in illness. Something tends to slingshot you.
Let's bring awareness to what your limiting beliefs are. What is it? What are the stories that you've been telling yourself about what's not possible, about what you can't have, about why it's so hard, and why you're not deserving or worthy enough? And then create is about creating more empowering beliefs, reprogramming your subconscious mind so that it supports what you actually want to manifest, and that's where it all begins.
And what are your thoughts on vision boards, bucket lists, write it down, make it work, all that sort of stuff?
I love it. Anything like that is brilliant. It's so different, it's such an individual journey, so whatever helps you to believe. I love a vision board because I love at a glance to always have that reminder without having to study it or look at it. Right now I'm manifesting something in particular, and it's the screensaver of my phone. So that's my mini vision board. Every time I open my phone, it's there. And what I'm affirming as I see that is, oh, that's my, whatever it is you're manifesting. Oh, that's my, and feeling it. So the hack to manifestation is knowing what you want and getting yourself to a place of not just believing it's possible, but knowing it's done. And this is what a lot of young people, there's teens and 20-year-olds talking about manifestation, which is brilliant. And they're talking about, you've got to be delusional. Delulu is, until it's Tralulu is the whole kind of thing. But I'm trying to, ask a small kind of grown-up manifestation, if you like. But they're not wrong. It is really getting it. Most people would think the work that I'm doing, you're absolutely delusional. Who do you think you are to speak on stages, to have books published, have that kind of money, whatever it is? But actually, that's how you manifest. You have to see it as not only possible but done, and feel it as not only possible, it's done, right? And that's how you speed up the process. But then also, again, it's not just sitting on a meditation pillow and waiting for it to drop out the sky. We have to show up and participate in this physical 3D reality, but then it's taking aligned action. So it's often we're reacting to life and taking action for the sake of it, but it's getting really intentional about, okay, if I already had this relationship, this house, this business, published book, whatever it is you want, how would I be showing up? What decisions would I be making from that place? How would I be taking care of myself? And so it's showing up as that version of you now, and then your physical reality starts to shift to meet you where you're at.
I love that.